And it feels like I'm broken. See there? Anybody? No? Just me? Okay. Status effects in Dead by Daylight are one of my favorite aspects of the game, little bonus effects that are great for creating perks, add-ons, and event bonuses, and DBD has a shitload of them, giving both buffs and debuffs to both sides. Haste, exposed, hindered, oblivious, blind, mangled, hemorrhage, deafened, incapacitated, undetectable, and of course the subject of today's video, broken. Survivors can only be broken when injured, and when broken, survivors cannot be healed. Like at all. You can't even attempt a healing action while broken. And I'm not kidding when I say broken is the most broken fuck you guys, debuff in the game. Some might say broken does the same as exposed, but exposed only works on basic attacks, while broken ensures a one tap no matter what the source of damage is. Broken is also a direct counter to survivor items like medkits and especially troublesome add-ons like Styptic Agent, which cannot be applied because survivor cannot even attempt the heal. Further than that, broken is a debuff that plays into one of my favorite aspects of Dead by Daylight. See, Deceased by Dawn is a game I enjoy because of a lot of reasons, but one of the big ones is that the skill expression within the game is not purely mechanical. It's not even mostly mechanical. I've talked about this in the past where I stated that to call something like the survivor role skillless or something lacking skill expression is to erroneously equate skill with mechanics. But the skill expression in general refers to things like game sense and game knowledge, micro and macro sense, understanding mathematics of timings, knowing how to zone, split pressure, and more all fall into the category of skill expression. But the biggest one, and one of my favorite aspects, is the psychological warfare of winning a game. A common term in the community is straight up called mind games. It's one of the common ways to attempt to win loops by making your opponent second guess either your moves or their own. Broken is a great status effect for playing into these mind games in a different way on a more macro level. While broken, because the survivors are susceptible to any oncoming damage, they will be more alert and more paranoid. Think of your terror radius as a giant bubble around you. This bubble is a don't touch my shit zone, and survivors normally do not respect the bubble until you get closer. But when they are broken, they become far more cautious, and this causes a sort of macro mind game. So yeah, broken is a fun and cool status effect that I have no issues with. I think it adds an interesting dynamic to the game. My problem comes in the form of it not being utilized very much for killers. Survivor perks galore like Second Wind, Deliverance, Weaving Spiders, and more cause broken to the survivor in exchange for some kind of powerful effect, but as the killer, your options are extremely limited. The Plague causes broken by default of her power, and some add-ons here and there apply broken for honestly piss poor amounts of time, but in terms of general usability, there are only two perks that cause broken for killers, Terminus and Forced Penance. And both of these perks sit pretty far down on tier lists in general. When it comes to Terminus, the late game pressure it can create is entirely dependent on your ability to hit and run survivors, but it is also countered by Adrenaline. Sometimes. I don't really know anymore. The relationship between Adrenaline and Terminus is like that one couple who keeps breaking up and getting back together and announcing it every time one of those things happen. Would you white trash crackheads make up your mind and stop flooding my Facebook with your nonsense? God damn it. Sorry, lost my train of thought. Terminus then. Terminus is not nearly consistent enough of a perk for you to run. You are better off running No-Ed in its place because even though broken is the superior effect, No-Ed is more consistent due to its lack of immediate counters and not needing a pre-end game setup. If Terminus lasted the entirety of the end game, it would have far more consistency, but I don't know if that would make it overpowered or not, and to be honest, that's not really the point of this video. The other deliverer of the broken status effect for killers is the perk Forced Penance. Besides having dogshit add-ons, Pyramid Head's perks fall into the category of either out-power crept, useless, or so niche it might as well be useless. I don't have any problems with Forced Penance in theory. It's a perk that works pretty well for what it does, but its use is so situational many times it's only useful on like 2 to 3 killers. When a survivor takes a protection hit, they become broken for 60 seconds. Protection hits rarely happen, and the reason that it's really only useful on a handful of killers is because only a handful of killers can force protection hits, like Twins, for example, which is a killer that has to be played against in pairs. But outside of that, the protection hit situation is so niche that the perk is better off not running. So of our two broken perks, one perk is inconsistent and outpower crept by a perk that existed in the game long before it even came out, and the other is so niche it basically sees no use. Outside of that, the only way for killers to have access to the broken status effect is a range of pretty pointless add-ons, and one killer whose entire power centers around the broken status effect. My problem with broken isn't broken itself, but the lack of perks allowing broken to be a thing. So here are some quick concepts that can be fine-tuned later that I think behavior should put into the game. A hex perk that causes survivor who is injured to become broken until another survivor is injured, then the broken transfers to the next injured survivor. A perk that causes a survivor to become broken if they stun a killer while they are injured. A perk that causes any injured survivor to become broken when they complete a gen. A rework to Hangman's Trick that causes the unhooked survivor to be broken for 45 seconds. A perk that causes a survivor to be broken when they fast vault a window the killer trapped in advance. A perk that causes a survivor to become broken when they fall from a great height. A perk that causes a survivor to become broken when they get picked up from the dying state. Again, we can tune numbers and cooldowns and shit like that later, but the point is that broken is a status effect that needs a lot more ways for the killer to inflict it. Outside of that, it's pretty much the perfect status effect. I like the dynamic it brings to the game, I like the way that it's implemented in some cases, but not others, and overall speaking, I think that it's one of these things that behavior needs to lean into so we can get away from the haste, undetectable, kick gen and regress it by 5 billion% design philosophy that they've been focusing on for at least 4 or 5 patches now. And that's all I have for you guys today. Make sure you let me know what you think down below. And as always, a great big special thank you to my channel members listed on screen now. If you want to find out how to become a channel member today and get awesome perks like seeing videos early, merch discount codes, and more, then please click that join button down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Need more Kaiser in your life? Well, I've got you covered. Check out my second channel, The Kaiser Extras, where I upload full gameplays, stream compilations, me reacting to your Dead by Daylight clips, and more. We also upload a daily short with all the greatest clips from stream. We'll see you over there. Link is in the description.